Hello, and welcome to Virtual Investor Conferences. My name is Anthony Kraus, and on behalf of OTC Markets, we're very pleased you have joined us for our next live presentation from Silver Tiger Metals Inc. Please note, you can submit questions for the presenter in the box to the left of the slides. You can also view a company's availability for one-on-one meetings through the Schedule Meetings tab found on the conference platform. At this point, I'm very pleased to welcome Glenn Jessam, CEO of Silver Tiger Metals Inc., which trades on the OTCQX Best Market under the symbol SLVTF and on the TSXV under the symbol SLVR. Welcome, Glenn.
Well, thank you again for having me present here at OTC. Always enjoy it. Real American clientele or following, and just nice to talk silver and silver projects with those that are interested. Look, it was February. That's where we're going to start. We'll start big picture. February, when I last presented. So maybe some people hearing from me for the first time, maybe people looking for an update. We'll give you a little quick background, then we'll get into what we've done since then. Been a lot. We're going to be one of the next great producing silver mines in Mexico. We'll talk about that. But I think what I'd really like to start with, which I think is just so important, is numbers. The last time I spoke, we talked about the silver market. And I said, boy, am I ever going to be happy about being a silver miner. We've been in Mexico for 30 years. Our group has built 3 large mines, sold 2 to majors during that period. It's a tough thing to do. You never set out to do that. Always set out to build a mine. That's what we do. We got a couple of projects, companies down there now on the doorstep of building the next great silver mines. And El Tigre is going to be one of them. When we talked last, I talked about demand for silver. In February, silver was $22. I said I thought it was going to go up and keep going up. Today it's $30. So sometimes when you're right, you got to remind people of that. I think that's very, very, very important. Excuse me. But why? The exact same things I talked about is why. There's not enough silver. We are making 800 million silver equivalent ounces. 150 million of those silver ounces are made in Mexico. The world needs now, it was about 1 billion. I was at the Rick Rule show or conference in Boca a couple of weeks ago. Robert Friedland was there. He was chit-chatting, and I listened to what he was saying, and boy, has silver demand ever gone off the charts. It's now 1.2 billion they're projecting for this year. Bigger shortfall, thus price going up. So if you're interested in silver and you believe in supply and demand, then investing in a company that's done almost 8 or 9 years of work to get to the point where we're ready to build a big silver mine, well, that's what I'm going to tell you about today. Solar is driving it. 2 things are driving it, solar and technology. But the solar demand is incredible out there right now. When we talked in February, the projections were 100 million silver ounces would be used in solar power this year. Now we've changed from PERC to a new technology, HGT or TOPCon, which uses 40% more silver. They're now projecting this year that of those 800 million silver ounces that are made in the world every year, 200 million of them are going to go into silver. Silver is going to go into solar. So incredible demand. AI driving it. I didn't know this until I was at the Rule Show and listened to some of the numbers. An easy comparison. If you do a Google search, this is about power. This is about solar power. This is about driving alternative energy. A Google search uses, I didn't know this, 17 seconds of the power a 100-watt light bulb uses. Okay. A chat GPT search and all the AI and the technology and the computing driving that, it's going to even be more exponential, uses about 5 minutes of a 100-watt light bulb power consumption. Wow. That's where the world's going. So those 2 things alone, solar power and the requirement for power in our new AI-driven world, boy, good time to be a silver miner. Last comment. And I said these the last time. Now we're closer to them. I'm going to keep reminding people. Today in the world, 51 real, true, not byproduct, silver mines in the world, 2020, 2025, 2026. 2027, that goes down to 44 because we're always mining ourselves out of business as miners. By 2028, there's only 38 left. Boy, am I ever going to be happy to have done all the work now and to execute on our plan over the next year or so and be number 39 on that list in a what we think as silver miners for almost 30 years in Mexico, a demand cycle like we've never seen. Enough about that. Let's talk a little bit about the project and what we've done since the last time we talked, and what we're going to do next year. We get this thing in production. And everybody always asks me about the politics in Mexico. Politics are dominating our world right now. We've got this U.S. election going on. That's taking a lot of air out of the building. And Mexico just had a new election in June. I'm going to talk about that. We see some very positive things coming out of that for mining in Mexico, and I'll deal with that at the end. LT grade. Look, we are located. We've been in Mexico for, as I said, almost 30 years. We have only been in Mexico, based out of Halifax, Nova Scotia, building silver mines there. We've not gone to any other jurisdiction. We figured you get to be an expert, put all your skill set, get all your experience, all your gray hair, all your scars in one jurisdiction, Mexico. And after the first one, second one, third one, you get better and better, and you become serial at building these mines. We're in the state of Sonora, great mining state. This project's only 100 kilometers from the U.S. border. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of that. I'm going to go quick here because a lot of people have probably already heard this, but we have to give those just joining a quick overview for the first time. Chihuahua, we built in Chihuahua, Durango. In many of these states, we love Sonora. Why? Sonora is a big mining state. Let's look at the project, and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is the project that in 2017 we saw. We had to have it. It was another public company. I bought that public company. I'm a securities lawyer by training. So use that skill set, get that company. We delisted that company and we took it. They've done some good work on the project in 2017 and we've run with it. Let me tell you a little bit about it, and then let me tell you who's bet on us. And if you want to bet on owning our stock, you should see some of the people that considered the smartest in the silver investing space that have bet on us through this 17 to where we are now, ready to build our mine. A big land package. What you're looking at there is 35 kilometers long, 30,000 hectares, 25 kilometers of the Sierra Madre, the famous trend where all these silver and gold mines are found. Why we bought this is, make no mistake about it, the old El Tigre mine, right here. Right in the middle of this, call it 3 or 4 kilometers of the 25, and it's all the same. We just haven't got down that trend to explore it yet. That was a mine, turn of the century, 100 million silver equivalent ounces. 1908, 1930, Americans got in there. Americans dominated Sonora, really Mexico for those 20 or 30 years, built all the big silver and gold mines down there. Great Depression came, silver went from $1.33 to 10 cents. Everybody went home, they'd made their killing. This sat there until we came back and said, we have to have it. Why? No new discovery in Mexico. Everything you find is either under an old Spanish mine or an old American mine. This is an American mine. We've had great success with putting those back into production through our careers. 100 million silver equivalent ounces at an average grade of 2.5 kilos. I mean, we see companies coming out today with PEAs 350 grams per ton. Imagine 2.5 kilos. The cutoff grade was 1.2 kilos. If it was less than 1.2 kilos, they left in the ground for us. Thank you. And they didn't take much. They only took a little bit of it in a 100-ton and 200-ton per day mill. Said had to have it, got it, bought it, and we're so glad we did. Put it under our control. We own everything inside the yellow box. I've actually bought the middle 7,000 hectares, own the land besides the mineral rights, all of our exploration around the old mine, and boy, has it gone well. Rough numbers, 200 million. They've mined 100 million silver equivalent ounces. In the last 7 years, we put another 200 million silver equivalent ounces on the books in MRE, mineral resource estimate. We'll talk about that. How do we do that? That's hundreds of thousands of meters of drilling. You have to fund that. So in 2017, when we got it, our track record of being successful in Mexico, we went and said, who's going to give us the money? Because we need about 120 million bucks to get to here. That's a lot of money to raise. And remember, everybody's saying nobody can raise money in this terrible silver market. Okay, well, we did. That speaks to the team. That speaks to the asset. I got to tell you who gave us that money. Let's just talk 120 million. Very, very wide persons invested for us, so we could raise that money. Let's talk about the last 3.5 years. Raised 75 million in bought deal financings, no warrants. I think you all know how that works. That means the biggest institutions in the world just say, we're going to bet on the fact they're going to build a mine, and when they do, they're going to have an exponential valuation from where they are now. That's how you win, not drill holes. You win on building the mine. And these guys bet on us. Franklin Templeton, basically Steve Land owns 9.9% of the company. That's where the 75 million came from in the last little over 3 years. When everybody's saying you can't raise money, we raised a great valuation. And now we've done all the work, we're going to talk about it, to build the mine. And not to make a discovery, not to find out how big the trend is, to do all the work so that you can go get the financing and build the next great silver mine. We're going to talk about that. Sprott Asset Management, Maria Smirnova, Merck Investments of San Francisco, VanEck, Joe Foster in New York, and on and on. These are all the top institutions that invest in gold and silver. And we're so lucky to have them as our largest shareholders and to give us a big chunk of the 120 we've spent since we've had this project to get to the point where we've won. People don't understand. And let's go talk about Tiger. I'm going to show you a little picture. So Tiger 101 here, cartoon. So you'll understand what we're talking about and how we're going to mine this. People don't understand how hard it is to get to a point where it's commercial. People think, do you think it's 1 in 100 exploration companies that get to where we are? No. Is it 1 in 1,000? No. I had Joe Foster from VanEck on the mountain looking at the project, but 2 months ago in May. We were having breakfast talking about that. We were just throwing, there's no real number. Maybe it's 1 in 10,000, we thought. So when you look at all these companies you want to invest in, realize how much we have separated ourselves from the pack. And now all those battles, all that money, all that drilling gets you to here where we're at the bottom of the Lassonde curve. I'm going to show you what that is for those that don't know. And we're ready to go up the other side. So Tiger, what is it? Let's do a little cartoon. There's 4 types of mineralization. There's the large bulk tonnage deposit, which we're finishing the PFS on, and we'll build that first next year. That's the one type of mineralization. There's always in Mexico what we all know, narrow vein, high grade silver. We've got kilometers and kilometers of it. Go look at our drill results. 1, 2, 10, 20, 30, 86 kilos we've drilled as high as that per ton. That's hard mining. That's narrow vein underground mining, very expensive. So in our experience, you always need that easier, still really hard, bulk tonnage deposit at surface. You take that and then you use the cash flow from that for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years to develop along the trend underground. And that's how it's always been done. We got real lucky. We found 2 new types of mineralization over the last 3 or 4 years when we've been drilling those hundreds of thousands of meters. We didn't expect. We got a beautiful black shale horizon, very shallow. We've drilled that all across the 4 or 5 kilometers of drilling we've done. Call it 20, 15, 20, 25 meters of grades up to a kilo. So think about this as simple. We've all been to Yosemite, the geyser. Think about it real simple. Millions and millions and millions of years ago, this was all volcanic like that, and various layers get laid down. And you always have the veins coming, and here they come right to surface. And through all of that volcanic rock, when they come to surface, you get blowouts of mineralization. The high-grade silver vein fills here. When it got here in this great plumbing for hundreds of meters, 100, 150 meters on each side of the vein, you had a big, wide, open tonnage, a bulk tonnage deposit of gold and silver laid down. Here, as that vein came up, it found some other great rock or plumbing it liked, and it blasted for 20, 30 meters on each side of the vein. Some high-grade, multi-kilo mineralization of gold and silver. And then we found another epigenetic event took place. Drilled this only in the last year or so, our first deep drill holes down underneath the old Tiger mine. And basically, look at that. That's where we hit this sulfide zone. That's already 750 meters. We've just started drilling it long by 350 high by 40 wide. And we're seeing multi-kilo ore, in many cases, 20, 30 meter cuts. So this first bulk tonnage, I'm going to talk about it, then go underground and get the vein. As you reach the black shale zone, you get all that wide zone mineralization. And then as you get deep enough, you take the sulfide zone. So far, call this is rough estimates now. Got to remember 43-101 rules. 100 million silver equivalent ounces in the open pit on the books. PFS delivered soon. We'll talk about that in a minute. To mine that, ready to build. And then the underground, call it already, just getting going on the drilling there. Already another 100 million silver equivalent ounces there of the high-grade underground. That basically we did the MRE on in September. We'll come back to it. You're going to see an MRE, a mineral resource estimate update on that, early 2025. And the PEA for the underground in early 2025, because that'll be the second phase. Now let's just talk about what's coming up for 2025. By September 1st, we'll have all the paperwork done to be able to build this. What's that look like? Well, it's an incredible deposit just in the open pit. Let me try and show you a little bit of the highlights on this thing. Here we go. Wow, there it is there. So in September of last year for Beaver Creek show, we delivered our PEA. This is just for the open pit, the bulk tonnage. Remember that, folks. I'm going to remind people, and then we're going to jump to the pre-feasibility study. Okay, so look at this project. That's why you need that bulk tonnage first. The NAV already 287 million US, 56% IRR, 1.7 year payback. The thing makes $500 million over the 10-year mine life. What's so amazing about it? Because it's simpler mining. It's open pit bulk tonnage on a heap leach. It's only a $59 million US capex. Can you imagine? Look at the all-in sustaining costs. Are $11 if we're talking about a silver price and $10 for production. So that's why it's so profitable at $30 silver. So really didn't mean much to me because I can't build on that. The lenders will not give me the money on that. Okay, so basically what we have to do is then we have to get to the next level of test, the PFS. So as soon as that was done last October, November, we said, okay, now we have to basically do the PFS. I'm going to give you an update on that right now. Before I do that, though, remember all those numbers I talked about? We're very conservative. We've been in mining a long time. We're very conservative. For this study, we used $1,850 gold and $23.50 silver. You can see the price is a lot higher than that. That's why we have such a thing as a sensitivity table, and that spit out all this. Now, if we use today's prices, I'm going to show you how profitable that pit is. For investing $60 million, this is where we did our study. Look at that. There's our little box we did it at. Lucky, I put a few boxes to the right. We're at this box. We're actually past this box, but let's just use it. We're almost in this box. Look at the NAV on that thing. Almost $500 million for a $59 million investment. 80% IRR. Pays all of the capital back in 1.3 years and makes almost 700 million USD free cash flow after tax for the 10, 11 year mine life. Why is that important? Because you take that cash flow and you drive that underground development. Remember our cartoon? Let's go back and look at it. What I just talked about is right there. Dig that out, put it on the heap leach, and that's the economics it drives. It only costs 59 US capex to do that. Then this is harder. This is more expensive. You got to go underground. You got to develop underground. Then you take that cash flow and you drive here and you build the next grade open pit bulk tonnage, transition to a large long-term underground mine. And remember, we've already got 100 million silver equivalent ounces in the underground, and we're not going to rest on our laurels while we're building this next year. We're going to keep drilling on this, and we're going to basically come out with the PEA, that first economic test on the underground, first half of 2025, because it just keeps going. First part, open pit. Second part, big underground mine. look, we're back underground. I should tell you that when you start seeing us exploring this fall, you're going to see some of those. It's been a little boring for the last 6 or 8 months. We've been doing our work to build the mine. I know that's not exciting for us, but maybe not for you guys. But rest assured, this fall, you're going to see some high grade underground silver results, because what we've done is we used to drill all these high grade down here, the veins and the sulfide from up here, went to work, spent a couple of $1 million, and we're now back deep in the guts of the old Tiger mine. I'll show you a few photos, what we've done there. The old timers left us, this is really interesting. The old timers left us this. Look at that. That's beautiful. Whole mine accessible. You can see that's the main entry to the old mine. We walked right in. But it's only 2.5 by 2 meters. We can't go in there and haul ore out, or more importantly, explore. So we brought in our underground developer, Cominvi, and they basically went to work, and we slashed and blasted that. And now, when I say we're in the old mine, we're almost half a kilometer back in the old mine. Why is that important? Let's go back to the cartoon. All that work's done. I mean, the old Tiger mine is completely opened up. We're in and out of there with heavy equipment, big gear. This is just like a first-class mine. Why is that important? Because we want to get in there come fall. Business plan for the open pit to build is done with the PFS. Let's drill some high grade. Let's get the plan ready to build the underground. So back to the model I just showed you. Excuse me, if I can find it here. So when I said we used to drill from here, not anymore. Now we just come right into the guts of the old mine. I just showed you the development, and we start drilling 25-meter holes, not 225-meter holes. Start drilling 150-meter holes, not 500-meter holes. So get ready for some great results this fall, PEA to come. Let's talk about the PFS. What happens next? Well, what happens next is basically that PEA, drill another, we've drilled another 30,000 meters. And this is that pit I talked about. This is what the PEA spit out when we did it. You can see it there, 2 kilometers, 300 kilometers wide, 300 deep. That's that PEA that generates all that cash. Dig that ore out over 10, 11 years, put it on the heap leach, make at today's prices $700 million USD free cash flow. Perfect, but we needed to tune that up a bit, so we had to take it to the next level, the PFS, which we'll build off of. That means you had to do all the metallurgical drilling. We did it. We all through the last 6 months. We had to do all the geotechnical drilling. Did it. Golder's doing the pit design. We had to move all inferred to indicated, so we included it in the plan. Did it. Most importantly, what we had to do is we have to finance this. I have to go to the lender and say, okay, now I need my $59 million. Can you give me that? They need to have a lock solid plan. They're going to get paid back. So what we did is why we'll be able to do this at PFS and not have to go to feasibility, according to the lenders, or in my data room now, getting ready to provide me with some of these term sheets. We hope, as we said, the mountain did a beautiful thing for us. There's the first 3 years of that pit's production. It was 0.4 strip, almost a gram per ton gold. We use gold equivalent, and the beauty of it was that we've now drilled this off through the last 6 months, and we've turned that all to reserve, measured and indicated. So that's 3.5 years of the production right there. And with a 1.3 year payback to the lenders on what we basically, at today's prices, that's what they'll finance this on. So that's all in the works right now. Going to get that PFS out. That'll be delivered in August before Beaver Creek. Keep an eye for it. Look at all the numbers. Everything will be defined, much more metallurgy. The plan will be done, the mine plan, how much money it'll make, the whole thing. We take that. We basically borrow the money, a little bit of equity maybe with it. We got options on that. And then we basically go and we build that great mine. The plan is all done. You basically can see that that's the final design. You'll see much more of in the PFS. There's your big pit. There's your plant. There's your leach pad. There's your waste dump. Very simplistic cartoon, but that's the first step. And remember, that's to drive the cash flow till we get the underground ready. You'll see the first PEA on that next year. Okay, let's talk about why our price is where we are. I think everybody understands the Lassonde curve. I am so honored and lucky, and means I won because I'm here. That means we went up the Lassonde curve. We basically explored and we drove our value up to probably more than double where it is right now. That's your discovery. That's where you did all that sexy drilling. Oh, that's fun. Isn't that? We'd love to stay there and keep going, but that's not how it works. That's when companies phase out. Most of them don't get here, 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 here. 1 in 10,000, 1 in 5,000. I don't know. It's a big number. Get to where we are. I'm so happy to be here. That's why the value is here. So now I come up with my plan. I get my money. I build it. And then we go up here. Okay. Companies, I'm trading at 100 million market cap because I'm here. Companies that are in the same production profile as me, go look at Aya, go look at Silvercrest. Go look at what our PFS is going to say we're going to build. They're trading at a $2 billion market cap. These are Canadian numbers. So if you believe we're going to do this, and boy, what a time to get into this stock. That's the whole story. That's the Lassonde curve. I show that. Most people don't want to show it. What if I never get here? What if I stop here? When I get here, I'm going to go here. You got to get here to go here to get here. It's just the way it works. So that being said, last thing to talk about, guys, is I'm not going to have a lot to get into it. We are permitted for the underground. We brought in the top builder, added him to the management team a year ago. This gentleman right here, Francisco Albalez, long time tried to get him. He built in the 12 years before he joined us two of the largest, most successful, profitable open pit heap leaches for a company called Argonaut. Go check him out. He's the guy who's going to build it. He's the expert, one of the best, if not the best in Mexico. He's our COO. He's got the keys to build it. He says he'll build it in 12 months, start to finish, start getting that cash flow. Fully permitted for the underground, as I said. So what do we got to do for that, open pit? Well, what we have to do is we have to amend that permit. We put the application in. It's going through the process. Everybody's been saying no more permits for Mexico, no more permits. Look, López Obrador was not the most mining-friendly administration. They're a democratic country, Mexico. We respect that. We've been through 5 or 6 elections. But we didn't need a permit. I don't need a permit until later this fall. Amendment. Remember, I have an underground permit. Amended for the heap leach. So we did all our work during that time. And now there's been a new election, for those that don't know. We have a brand new president in Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum. We are very impressed with what she's done since she won on June 2nd. She's not going to be president until October 1st, but she's putting her team together. What a progressive, what an amazing economic powerhouse she's putting together for Mexico. We think it's going to be amazingly good for foreign investment. We know that. And we think it's going to be amazingly good for, mining in particular. And we've been through this a long time. So we think 2025, we're going to get our permit. It's going to take a year to build it. And that basically, maybe in a couple more presentations from now, I'm talking to you and showing you pictures of our first pour. And we add ourselves to number 39 on that list of diminishing true silver mines in the world, when you already know, from what I've told you, for what the price is doing, that we have a real shortage of supply in silver. I'm going to steer you something on my website. I can't get into the old political overview because we think it's been so positive since we saw that election, especially for mining. I did a full deep dive with with the Mining Journal, I think it is, out of London about 2 weeks ago. Half an hour just on the election. I have snippets in there of her economic minister doing a speech in English to the entire world, Bay Street, Wall Street, London, about how they were going to be open for business, for foreign investment after her election. That is actually embedded. You can listen to it in the presentation. Go to my website. Go under CEO, go under investors, and I think there's CEO interviews. Look for the one on the election. You should listen to it. Listen to it if you invest in Mexico at all, but also in particular, listen to it if you're thinking of investing in El Tigre, because I really think you're going to see how positive it's been since she's won that election, and we expect it to even get better. So with that, I'm almost done. I'm going to try to take a few questions here. Should tell you we got, $8 or $9 million left in the bank. Don't need to raise any money right now. Going to finish this whole report, get back exploring in the fall, PFS underground, build it, finish the PEA for the open pit, for the underground by drilling more high grade silver this fall, first half of next year. And we're going to go get our debt and we're going to get this thing built. That's the plan. And you know what? I said that in 2017. That was the plan. And here we are in 2024. Are we 1 in 5,000? Are we 1 in 10,000? Sometimes when you win, maybe the stock price doesn't show it, but we know we have at the bottom of that Lassonde curve. Boy, what a time to invest in El Tigre if you believe that our track record and this asset is going to be able to deliver the mine that I say it is. pay attention to that PFS. Here's some questions. In which end, how much capital do you need for development equity? Well, we already said that. The build is $59 million. A strategic partner. We think we know as much about mining as anyone in Mexico. We don't need a strategic partner. We've built probably as many mines through our careers as sold to majors as any company there. What are the key takeaways from the recent 125 drill hole program? I'm not sure what that means, but the recent program was really just to finish the PFS on the open pit deposit, 30,000 meters. You saw those results. That's all finished. You'll see the beautiful economic deposit that flows from that PFS here in August. Stay tuned for that. But get ready for that tiger high grade, as we like to call it, in the fall, because we get back underground where I showed you, start drilling some of that 1, 2, 3, 10 kilo underground. And I know that's what everybody's excited about. We're more excited about building the mine. But anyway, people love high grade. Get ready for some of those results. It'll be a big drill program in the fall starting. Chesapeake Gold recently lost their leading concession. I don't know anything about that. Where our concessions, we don't lose concessions. We've had our concessions, 30,000 hectares for the last 8 years. There's no chance of us losing our concessions. I can't really seem to move down in this. I wish I could. Let me see if I can use my key. There seems to be a few more questions down there, but I guess I can't get to them. So really, that's all I got right now, guys. Oh, here we go. I got it moving. Sorry. Can you comment on AIDC hit rate and drilling costs? Our hit rate has been extremely high, as you see. We don't drill many holes. We're $200 US all in per meter. That's camp, that's assay, that's everything. So that's our drilling costs. We've been there for 28 years. We get great bang for our buck. Milestones to the end of the year, I think we've already talked about that. We're going to get the PFS out. That means we're ready to build the mine, get the debt in place, start building that in 2025. Underground drilling again from underground, as we've talked about, and then a PEA for the second part and big part of this deposit, which will be the PEA for the underground. Will the PFS consider the project from only the underground potential? No, I think I'm glad I got that. I think that's most of these have been answered, guys, through this. The PFS is just on the bulk tonnage. You're going to see the first PEA on the 100 million silver equivalent ounces underground. Remember, there's 100 million in the pit. You're going to see that underground first look at an economic test, first half of 2025 with PEA. That's all I see here, folks. So thank you very much. Keep an eye on El Tigre. We trade on the OTCQX down there, SLVTF. A great time to be at the bottom of that Lausanne curve, we think that's a feather in our hat. Not many get there. Now we're going to build and go up the other side like a rocket ship. And so for investors, we think if you believe what we say, it's a great time to invest. Thank you very much, and appreciate your time. And whenever they'll have me back in several months.